everyone, welcome back to my channel. This morning when I woke up, the weather was very crisp and very fall-like, a lot cooler, and so I thought what a great day to start working on some fall paper craft items. So I've made these before. These are just some scarecrows, and you can either use them as embellishments or you can punch them out. What I've done a lot is punch them out and use them as a tag. So they've just got a cute little flower with a jewel on there, and I'm going to show you how to make these real quick. So let me move these up here out of the way. And I start this out with just using a tag base. It's 3.5 by 1.5, and then the edges can be snipped off. And then I will take this size. It's just a little piece of craft cardstock, and I've cut it to 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And so that's going to be the top of our hat. And then along with that, we're going to need one little piece just for this part here on his hat. That's just the little strip that's going to go across there. And that's going to be 2 inches by 3/8 inches wide. So let's start off here, and we'll start by shading this. If you can tell on here, I've got the edges shaded up here in a lighter color, kind of a skin tone color more, and then I've got a darker color on the top of these hats. So we're going to start off by going around the bottom edge of this one, and I'm going to do that in the Distress ink by Tim Holtz in the tea dye color. And I've just got an old sponge here that I'm going to do this with. And I'm not going to go around the whole edge, because I want the top part's going to be covered with that craft cardstock, so we won't need to do all of that. But we'll get the very bottoms here, pull it in just a little bit, and I think that'll be good. And then for my hat, I want to ink along the edge of it, but I think I'll go ahead and glue that on first. Let me pull a little glue strip in here, glue paper. And I am just going to go ahead and do the whole back of this with glue. And I made it just a little bit bigger than 1.5 by 1.5, so I can trim the edges and it'll cover it all. I can line it up on that side. Okay, I'll use my scissors and just come along here. And we'll trim off that extra. So like I said, these make really nice gift tags, but you can also use them as embellishments. It's sticking to my scissors. You can also use it as embellishments for scrapbooks and junk journals. And then these would also look really cute as you know, table scatter for if you're having a fall party. Okay, so next I want to ink the edges of both of these, and for that I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Distress ink again, but I'm going to use it in the walnut stain. I'll just go along the edges of this. A little more in there, and then I'm going to also do it on this small piece that's going to go across his hat. The brim of his hat. This is just a really quick, easy project. Turns out cute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue his little brim on. And if you look right along this line, and I'll show you where I put this at, when I glue it on, I'll come just below this line and then make it touch on this line. And then just try to have it even. That way they're all relatively the same. Okay, and next I need a little nose. So I've cut myself a little triangle pattern here. I don't know if you can see it well. It's just a little triangle. The bottom of it for his nose, it's about a 1/2 inch wide and then about 3/4 inch tall. But I am going to cut that out. I've got this little orange slip here. You could just cut your own little triangle out, but I want mine to all be similar in size since I'm making several of these, so I made myself a little pattern. And a lot of times I'll go through and cut out a whole bunch of these noses at one time, but we'll just make this a quick video. So I've got my nose here. I'm going to put it on next. Just some Elmer's glue. And we'll stick it right in the middle. Oop, too tall. I think that looks pretty good. Kind of centered up there. And then I'm going to use, I've got two sizes of Sharpies here. One's a little bigger and then one's the ultra fine point. I'm going to use the bigger one to make his eyes. And I'm just going to come right along each side. It's still got kind of a thin tip, so I'm just going to go kind of make a swoopy circle so it's a little wider. And then I've got this white jelly roll pen. And if you'll notice on these, I don't know if you can see, they've each got a little dot right in the middle just to give it a little bit more detail. So I'm going to kind of go off to the right side and put a dot. There we go. Okay, put my lid on my glue. And then I'm going to come in here with this fine tip point and we'll do a little more detail work here. So let's see, let's start off by going along the edges. And for this edging, get a nice start here. There we go. I'm going to just do line, line, dot, dot, line, line, dot, dot. Dot. I think I'll start up here and come down then. Line, line, dot, dot. Okay. And then I'm going to go up about halfway on his nose. And we'll just do, whoops, we'll just do a little bit of a U there. And then we'll do some dotted lines to make his mouth. Okay, for now on those cheeks, what I'm going to do is I've got a pink color of ink here, and I've just cut out, I've used a little piece of a foam. It's got a little bit of height to it, as you can see here. It's just a little piece of foam. I cut it into a circle just so I could have something to daub it on. And so I've just got the ink, I'm going to daub it on there, and we'll come over here and I just do one mush down. And then same thing on the other side. Now I have also just used my finger and came in and did those. But when I'm making several of these and I'm kind of going back and forth and gluing and that, I just like to have something that's going to be used for that. I don't have to go wash my hands in between every time. Okay, so next what we need is going to be a little flower here. And I have cut out several flowers here already that I like. And of course you can use, you know, ones that come in a bag, or you can use punches to do them. This one I just did on my Cricut. I've got a nice little cartridge that has cute little flowers on it. So I just use that. I've got some tacky glue, and we're just going to put a little dabble there for our flower. And then for each of these I'm putting a little jewel. If you've got a little button, that would look nice. Let's use this one. And this one happens to already have a little hole in the middle, so that glue came through. I'm just going to utilize that and put my little jewel on. And that is it. Don't these turn out kind of sweet? Just really nice little fall project. And I'm going to go ahead and make mine into a tag here. So where I've already had this on the back side, the hole, I'm just going to go in with my hole punch and make another hole. And then I've got some string here. And I'm just going to pull the string through. Now what would also be cute on these is if you had some raffia. You could glue on some raffia. you know, right behind here. Or you can use string. I've got some string here. Let me show you what that might look like. That you can just come and glue kind of behind him. That might be kind of cute to do something along those lines, but I kind of liked it plain. So I'm just going to turn the rest of these into gift tags, and that will be that. So I think that's going to be all for this quick fall craft on these scarecrows. Thanks for joining me today. Bye-bye.